everybody, look what I got. This is my Sam's Bead Box for July 2025. It is so amazing. I love everything in it. It's so abundant, it almost doesn't fit on my mat underneath the camera. And I want to do kind of a fast unboxing and just share. I mean, everything is so delicious. But I have so many things to make from this box. My designing brain is in full gear. I've already done one of my sample earrings. I'm going to do a bracelet with this right off the bat. And with these, oh my goodness. Okay, let's get started. This is called Shoreline Stroll. And I'm going to start with the strands. The first one is this gorgeous Czech glass starburst flower. It's teal and gold. It's an 8-piece strand and it's a 12.5 millimeter coin bead. And I just love, love, love it. It is beautiful. I love a beautiful coin bead. And then this is absolutely wonderful as well. This is an English cut Czech glass bead that's matte teal. There is a 50 pieces here and it's a 3.5 millimeter strand. I absolutely love that. And this made me squeal with delight, and I'm not kidding you. I found these 2-hole beach style glass beads many years back at a bead shop in Central Florida, and I haven't seen them since, and I have wanted some more of these. These are flat back coin beads. It's a matte teal. They're 8 millimeter coins, but they're 5 millimeters thick, and you have 5 pieces here. And so I'm going to use one in my bracelet, and then I'm thinking about doing a pendant with 2 of them, but I was even considering another bracelet. I love these. They're so cool, and they're even spaced out with some little frosted sort of clear beach glass style spacers. Just amazing that that's in the box. And this is one of my favorite gemstones in the world, this little strand of Amazonite. It's a smooth round. They're 6 to 6.5 millimeter, and there's a full 7.5 inch strand here. It's like my favorite size. I love this with oceanic things because it has that seafoamy water color to it, but I also love it with pinks and corals, which is just so perfect for the summer. So gorgeous. This is also wonderful. I think I'm going to be using these in my first bracelet project. These are Czech glass Brio drop. It's a sea glass mix. So there's sapphire, peridot, and amber in here. There's 40 pieces on the strand. It's 5 by 7 millimeter. Aren't they just gorgeous? They're just that smooth, frosty, kind of that all in the beach glass vibe, which this is absolutely wonderful. This is a Czech glass oval, and it's matte rippling waters mix, 9 by 12 millimeter, and there's 12 pieces here. Look at the color, and each one of these beads has a beautiful little swirl or striation in it, and each one has its own little color story. They're just absolutely wonderful. It's tone on tone, but you get this beautiful movement throughout the bead. And then another one of my favorite size, these are Czech glass Drux, which is a smooth round bead. So there's no faceting, there's no table cutting or fluting or anything on it. And this is a matte sapphire amber mix, 30 pieces here, and it's, you know, my favorite size bead, the 6 millimeter. You can just do so much. I always say this, if you're making a chunkier piece, a 6 millimeter bead is a great spacer bead. But if you like this scale of jewelry, you can just, you know, use that as your main bead size. And then I love this. Oh my goodness, these are so beautiful. This is a Sakura agate. It's a smooth tube. There's a 6.5 inch strand here. They're 8 by 12 millimeter. This was one of my bracelets that I did with last month's Sam's Bead Box, and I love this so much. I think I'm going to use this to do another version of this bracelet, and it had this gorgeous coin bead, an extender chain on it. I just absolutely love the simple elegance of this, and I think I need another similar style in this gorgeous gemstone strand. Look at that bead. I love that pink color. And again, this is what I was saying, like with the amethyst, that is such a beautiful, fresh, cool waters, very oceanic. I just absolutely love it. So maybe I'm going to design another little version of this bracelet using the Amazonite and this, but I do want some of this Amazonite in my sea glass bracelet too. I love those two together. So my design brain is not slowing down. I just really can't wait to get started on this. This is another favorite of mine. This is in that, man-made sea glass style, but it's an elongated bicone, and it's in the peridot, so they call it cultured sea glass, and it's just wonderful. It's so oceanic, but it's very smooth and soft, just the way when the ocean tumbles glass or seashells, the edges are all smooth, but you get the geometry of a bicone, but without sharp edges, I guess is what I'm trying to say. This is just absolutely wonderful. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. I haven't decided, but it's not for lack of loving it. Honestly, when your beads are this gorgeous, you could do something so simple. Just string it and choose a cool spacer. I haven't a plan for this one yet, but I totally adore it. This one, there is 11 pieces in the strand. And then we have some Czech glass mint leaves in this box, which is also so cool because even though these are mint leaves and we use them with flowers, these can also take on the look of like the reeds and the grasses that grow along the edge of the shoreline. So I love having this, and I love this very beautiful color. This is the matte olive with the gold wash. There's 15 pieces here, but this color is really neutral and it can just add a little life to anything that you're doing. This is another favorite. Honestly, I was going to try to tell you guys what my favorite was in this box, but I love it all. I'm just going to keep saying this is my favorite. This is my favorite because they're all so amazing. This is a little Czech glass spacer. It's a rondelle. It's a peridot ivory silk mix, 2 by 4 millimeter. There's 40 pieces here. So, I am going to cut this open and use this for sure. But you can see the ivory, the peridot. It goes from crystal to opaque. What a stunning bead. I need like a bathtub full of these beads. I love those. There's this gorgeous 2-hole tile bead mix. This is matte peridot amber, 6 millimeter. There's 24 pieces here. These are so fun to play with. You can use Brazilian waxed cord. You can use bead stringing wire. You can even use like wire to create some negative space with just seed beads in between. And that is in this box. Even these rondelles in between would be so gorgeous. I mean, it's just pretty, pretty, pretty. And then there is a Czech glass table cut carved square bead. It's brown topaz Picasso. There's 6 pieces here. I just love these. They have the Picasso wash around the edge and across the top. They're just, what a gorgeous bead. And again, geometry and jewelry right here. It's so beautiful. And then there's a fancy jasper coin. Oh my goodness. This strand is so amazing. These are 12 to 12.5 millimeter. And there's a jasper round in between that's looks like 2 millimeter, maybe 3 to 2 millimeter. There's 15 pieces here, but look at the color variation. I mean, they're just amazing, from this, very seashell looking creamy white to kind of the driftwood colors, and it's just beautiful. Look at the milky. And I love the little jasper, tiny little spacer beads on this strand. What a strand of beads. I don't want to put it down. And the coins are just perfect, and they feel so smooth and cool and glassy. Gemstones are so wonderful on our skin. I absolutely love, love, love that. And then I don't know if I've been in a cave or under a rock, but this is a Czech glass turtle, and I've never seen this turtle bead, but I absolutely love it. It's a Pacific blue silk glass with a gold wash on top of it, and I just love it. I think that is just stunning, and I happen to love turtles. I just love, love, love it. And anything you do with this is so denim friendly, but also that pretty chambray, the light pale denim that we sometimes wear around the beaches, at least here in Florida. Oh, I just love it. So beautiful. And then there is a marquee shaped oval shell bead. These are so gorgeous. It's white shell. It was a 10-piece strand, but I just cut mine open. And again, you guys, you have to look. I never know if the camera's rendering, but you see that mother of pearl, that opalescent shell. It has a bit of a shimmer, almost looks like it's underwater, and they're just so smooth and elongated and just so beautiful. I love this too. And you can see that it goes into the beigey tones of a shell. There's even some little brown specks, just like what you find naturally that comes out of the ocean. It's so beautiful. And I have to have a pair of earrings out of this. I've already taken one of these and made my sample earring. They're super simple pendulum earrings that I want to do with this. There is, I didn't count them. There's a 6-piece set here. It's a sea star charm. It's white shell, but it has a gold charm inlaid on it. So you don't feel the charm. It's not glued on top. It's actually inlaid in the shell. And the hole for adding a jump ring or wire or whatever is at the top. There's 6 pieces here, so if you wanted to do a little charm bracelet, you could, but I had to have earrings out of it. It's flat on the back and, you know, a little like coin shaped on the front. That is just absolutely stunning. I mean, I am a lifelong Floridian, so we do have this kind of thing here, but I've never seen this and I love it. I don't know where Sam and Rachel are sourcing their beads, but it's pretty amazing. And then this is also really amazing. There's 2 pieces here of a strawberry conch shell slice pendant. The sizes are going to vary because this is natural, but look at the thickness. This is so sturdy, the way that it is sliced front and back, that you could really do anything with it. It's strong enough that you can weave your wire in and out. I think what I'm going to do, look how cool this is. This one's a bit wider. This one's a bit narrower. The architecture in this is absolutely gorgeous. It's so natural, and it's even hard to say which side is prettier. But I think what I'm going to do is maybe do a pendant video. That's where my brain is, because there's so much here to make statement pendants out of. So I haven't worked that out yet, but I know that I want a pendant out of one of my shells and a bracelet bar. I'm going to turn one of them into a bracelet bar. So I'm thinking maybe the wider one as a bracelet bar and create a pendant out of the long elongated one. I love those. And then we got, speaking of pendants, 2 free-form pendants again in that Curated beach glass. One of these is called green and one is called lemon. So again, in the cultured sea glass, but they're smooth. They're kind of free form. They do look tumbled by the ocean. The hole is at the top. These are so fun to lay your wire on and embellish with wire and little seed beads. They're so fun and so free form, and it's the style of jewelry making that you can't get it wrong, because it's you. Whatever you do, whatever art you create on this glass, you know, is what you did, and there will never be another piece like it. So that just makes me so happy. I love that. And then this, maybe this is my favorite thing in the box. These are long rice-shaped barrel beads. It's also cultured sea glass in this gorgeous aqua color. I just love the geometry of this, and I wish we had Feel-O-Vision, because they're so smooth. They have a nice weight to them. They have a really nice size hole, so waxed cord could go through here, wire, like really you could do anything you want. These are just so gorgeous. There's a 5-piece set of that. And let's see. Next up is this Shoreline Stroll bead mix. These are Toho rounds. They're size 8/0, and there is 6 grams here. I am a little short on my 8/0 size seed beads, and I've been trying to build up my stash, but I absolutely love these. I'm thinking they may go in my first bracelet design, but I'm not going to dump them out because you'll be seeing them. You know, if you've been around me for a few minutes, if you know me at all, I just don't know how anybody creates without seed beads, and I love that Sam and Rachel put these in the box, because more design possibilities. Absolutely gorgeous. And then the pièce de résistance is this charm set. There are scallop shell charms, 2 of them, and it's a coin pendant. They're 23 millimeter. They are gorgeous front and back. They almost have the look of a found fossil, and I love this antique gold. It's bright, but it's still not like I don't know how to say it. It's a little bit more natural, a little bit more boho, and definitely beach chic. I love those, and that's why I was saying I think another version of this bracelet with this as one of the charms will be absolutely stunning. And again, back to this bracelet, I took this little marquee brass bead from my stash, but there are a pair of nautilus shell links in this box in that same matching brass. So I think that would just be beautiful to have just one link and have it surrounded by gemstones and have my drop on my extender chain become this beautiful little shell fossil. And that puts these gorgeous pieces where I can see them and enjoy them and, you know, really like look at them. And like I said, this was one of the things that I did with last month's box, and it's just classic elegance. And I picked this up I have worn this so much since I made it last month, because with the extender chain, it's super easy to take on and off. And so I think I'm going to do another version of that. Let's see, is that everything? I think that's the end of the list. I'll show you, I've already done my little pendulum sample earring with the sea star. So this is super easy. This is a 5-minute earring, but there's a few little tips and tricks for getting your downward rod. I love these minimalist styles for beach chic jewelry. And I just really wanted a pair of earrings. So let me clean up a little bit. We'll make that earring, and I think we're going to do this bracelet as well. Okay, let's make this fast, sweet little pendulum earring. I used a piece of 20 gauge wire, and I have been saving these gold filled ear wires for a special earring, and today was the day. And so I made my rod about 1.5 inches, but you can make your pendulum as long or as short as you want it. For me, this is the scale of jewelry that I love. It's my everyday earring. So I just took a little piece of 20 gauge wire, and for me, I used my 1-step looper in 2 sizes for this earring, but you can totally do this with your pliers if you like to do simple loops with your pliers. The reason I do it on earrings is I get my loops effortlessly the same size. And when I started, my 2 pieces of wire, they were exactly the same length, so I don't have to measure. And so what I'm going to do is take my 2¼ millimeter 1-step looper and put my wire in just a little bit past that back jaw and up against the back plate. And I'm going to let it make that little cut for me, and then I bend it down so that it is centered. That loop is centered on the wire, and while it's in the tool, if I need to straighten, I can go ahead and do that with my nylon jaw pliers. And you know, it's a pendulum earring, so I really do want it straight, but I am going to put this on my bench block and hammer it. But I love the beautiful consistent loops that I get. Now the reason that I did the 2¼ for this loop is because of where the hole is and because of the thickness. The hole is here, and because of the thickness, you really need a larger loop. And even with this, I'm going to have to open it you know, pretty wide to get it in there. So I'm going to put my bench block here, and I used, whoops, I dropped my piece of wire. I used my riveting hammer. It's got a square head, and so the orientation of this matters. So when I open my loop and I put it in my earring, it's going to be that way. So this is the side that I want to flatten. So I'm going to put my wire here in the direction that I would connect it, because this is the side that I want to flatten with my hammer. And I'm going to flip it over and flatten this side too. You could do a heavier gauge than 20 gauge if you want to. So I'm doing this side on the edge of my hammer. It's making these little slices, and I'm going to do both sides. On a riveting hammer, you can also use this end to create those slices. It kind of mimics diamond cutting when you do that. So like I have a jump ring here, a fancy jump ring that's diamond cut. This is smaller gauge, but that's essentially what I'm creating with my hammer. And I do want to straighten this out a little bit. When you hammer wire, you know, you change the molecular structure. So when you are hammering a piece of jewelry, generally you have to go back and do a little sculpting. Okay, let me put the hammer and the bench block away. That's it. That's all there is to that. And so now I'm going to come to this side, and open this simple loop really wide. And here's like one of the little tips and tricks for this earring. There's obviously a front and a back to these earrings. I want the opening of my loop to be on the back of the earring. So from the front, this pendulum minimalist beach chic earring, from the front, it is absolutely seamless. So when you look at my earring, the downward rod just goes right into the earring. You don't really see any of the wire. It's just really pretty. But now I'm going to need this other loop to be going in the opposite direction so that when it goes on the ear wire, my little starfish is facing forward. So this time I'm going to use the 1.5 millimeter one-step looper, and same thing. I'm going to go in just past the back jaw, make sure my wire is against this plate, and that's going to put my loop in the opposite direction of the first one that I did. So it makes that little cut for me, and I'll bend it down so that my loop is centered on my earring. And so now you see why I could avoid measuring. As long as I started with both of my earrings with the same length wire, I can do this earring without ever getting out a ruler. But if you wanted to, like if you're a measurer, I'm so right-brained, I avoid measuring at all costs. But if you wanted to, you could use your ruler and a Sharpie marker to make little marks on where you need to create your loops and cut your wire. But I did it this way, and as you see, this is like the fastest, easiest pair of earrings in the world. I'm just going to straighten out my wire. And honestly, you could, with this style, if those of you that have been on my channel, you know that I have these gold-filled interchangeable lever back ear wires, and I have a ton of drops that I interchange. And on this earring, you could have totally not even put an ear wire if you have these interchangeable ones, but I've been saving these gold-filled little French hooks, and I just love it. I know it's not a great way for you to see a drop, but they're so dangly and flirty, and I effortlessly got both my earrings exactly the same that way. So my first project is done, and so let me show you what I have out here. More 22 gauge wire. I have 2 pieces here, and I'm going to be using my turquoise color Soft Flex 49 strand bead stringing wire. This is what I had left on that spool, and I just took the whole thing off, and I'll put in my scrap bag whatever I don't use. And I have this cute little articulated fishy. He's going to be my charm on my bracelet. I'll put a link to him. I just found him and purchased him for summer jewelry. So, and I have ones with 3 different sizes as well. I have a gold-plated lobster claw clasp, and this one has this little swivel base. I can put a link. This is from an assortment of gold-plated lobster claw clasps. I have out some Toho seed beads here. They're size 11-0, and they're perma-finish galvanized, and this color is called Antique Gold. And these are left over from a past Sam's Bead Box, some hematite gold-plated spacers, and I have 2 sizes of those. And what else? You see all the goodies from the box. So I'm going to start out with just one of those 2 whole beads, and I'm going to start by making a simple loop on one end of this wire. And let's see, I'm going to do, what size loop do I want? I'm going to do my 2 1/4, and let me put the loop in here, and I'll show you why I chose that size. I have this is left over from some chain that is solid brass, and it's gold plated and e-coated so that it won't tarnish. And this was like a long length of chain, and these are scraps from that chain that I used for my extender chain on this bracelet. So I have that my 2 hole bead is going to connect to, but I had this out here to show you that if you have these stainless steel decorative jump rings, and I've linked these are in my favorite findings, that would also work for this project. And if you don't have that, if you wanted to just make your own jump ring out of 18 gauge wire and then texture it with a hammer, you could make that work. It's going to be easier to open this loop and add it to my ring here. So my bracelet is going to shift from a metal ring to a little wire working to a little stringing. It's going to be, like, I hope, really, really cool. I left that this ring because this chain was all solid, the larger ring and the smaller, and I just left it on there because when I add my fish, it can connect right to that and it'll have a nice dangle. Okay, my 2 wires are on there, and I'm going to feed on my 2-hole bead to both wires. Give it a little bit of space in there to move around. I'm just going to close that loop really well, and I'm going to turn it inward and do the same thing on this side, just giving it a little bend inward, just so my ring fits right up against my glass bead. And now I'm going to come to this end and do a wire wrapped loop. I feel something there. I want to make sure that's closed really well. Better. Okay, I'm going to do wire wrapped loops now on both of these, and they're going to be going in the same direction as my other loop, as my simple loop. So I'm just going to give that a bend. I go ahead and bend this one too so that I can wrap my loop. Go this way. Okay, I'm going to snip this wire in what will be the back of my bracelet, because this has a front, a top, and a bottom. So this convex part of the 2-hole coin bead is the upside, and this is the upside because the closing of my simple loops is on this side. So when I look at this component, I just want this to be seamless. I don't want to see openings there. Okay, and now I'm going to wrap a loop on this side too. Little bit to manage with the wire in the way, but if your loops are off a little bit when you're trying to make a component where you just have to get in there with your tools, go ahead and get it wrapped, and when you're done, you can go in with your pliers and, you know, straighten everything and make it look better. And snip. Now I'll come in and make sure everything is tucked and straight and nothing sharp. Okay. The beginning little component is ready for stringing. And so now what I'm going to do is take my piece of 49 strand bead stringing wire, and I'm going to create a little pattern. I'm going to start with, what am I going to start with? I'm going to go through here first. And I think I'm going to start with one of these and a gold seed bead, one of these, that fits in there just perfectly. So I'm going to back this down and go through the loop, go through this loop with that little pattern. Just back it down and slip it through so those two little beads sit in there. And I'm going to string from both sides now. That's why I left this long, because I'll be stringing from both sides, and then I'll just trim away whatever doesn't work. And I'm going to do on each strand another one of these. Okay, so my little section looks like that. I matched up the sides and just alternated a gold seed bead with a teal English cut and a teardrop. And so I really wanted to have this blue bead in, but for this design I had to choose beads that would take both strands of my bead stringing wire. So I'm going to start with one of these hematite disc spacers. Believe it or not, as small as that is, both strands fit through. And now I really wanted one of the Amazonite in this design, and I had to cut my strand and go through and find one that would fit through both strands, because it's a gemstone, so the hole sizes are always, there are variables, but I did find one that would slide down on two strands. I had these were the first two that I pulled off. The holes are too small, and now this one will work. So we're looking like that. I'm going to pull this tight so it's looking like that. And the teardrops are going to flop around a little bit, but when this bracelet is on my arm, you know, the body holds up little cluster sections and cha-cha sections like that. So then I'm going to do a larger spacer. One of my long bicones. Isn't it pretty how you see the turquoise wire through that glass? I just love that. Another turquoise. And I was going back and forth between the amber color and the turquoise color, but I think that's quite pleasing. And now I'm going to put this last little spacer on. Look at that. Isn't it so pretty? I just love it. Okay, and so from here I'm going to separate my two strands and bead these up exactly the same. I'm going to mix these and do gold in between, gold spacers in between. So I'm going to start with, what am I going to start with? I'm going to start with gold, just so that I'll show you. Let me string these on and I'll show you why I'm starting with a seed bead. I have to string a couple to make this happen, but I do love that my Soft Flex turquoise is such a perfect match, because if it shows a little bit, it really won't matter. But what you don't want is, as your two wires are exiting this bead, you don't want this competing for space. So honestly, I think I'm going to do two of the 11-0 gold seed beads before I start stringing, and that will just make a really smooth transition as my two wires have gone from, you know, a single strand into a double strand. So you push those down, and so you see, and like I say, where you see a little bit of the turquoise, it's really pretty. It matches everything. So that's the beauty of Soft Flex, but that way my beads are not so much competing for space. Whoops, I'm sorry. I know it's busy behind. So we're looking like that. And now I'm going to separate these two strands and just bead to my desired length. Okay, I'm at my length. I checked to make sure, and I really want to finish with another one of those. Another amethyst, not amethyst, Amazonite that both strands will go through. So I guess I just had a couple with really small holes on my strand. So that is going to finish my bracelet, and I'm ready to crimp and put my lobster claw clasp on. This is so cool. It's so light and airy and open. I'm going to grab one of my Softflex Company #2 gold-filled crimp tubes. These are my favorite. You can definitely do a fold-over crimp method here, but I'm going to use my magical crimping plier because the #2 crimp tube is almost exactly the same size and shape and everything as these 2mm 11/0 seed beads. So it's just a little like jewelry technique. See how the seed beads that I'm using says 2mm, and these crimp tubes are 2mm. So a non-jewelry maker, sometimes even a jewelry maker who's not familiar with that tool, will not know how this piece is held together. So I'm going to let one of my wires just hang out, and I'm going to feed one of my wires back down through the crimp tube, and for sure it will not go through that Amazonite bead because two barely fit through. I'm just going to get my loop a good size. So I have to think for 1 second, because a lot of times with my Softflex wire, I will just let the bead stringing wire be exposed for the loop, but you can string seed beads on before you go back down through your crimp tube. You can also do French wire here. You could do a wire guardian, but that color is so beautiful with the beads. I actually think I'm just going to leave that loop in its colorful state. Just use the beautiful color of the wire to my advantage in this design. I'm just going to get that loop pretty small, and before I crimp, I just want to check my tension, since this is like single to a multi-strand. Just want to check my tension and make sure that everything looks the way that I want it. Okay, so I'm going to come right here and fit that #2 crimp tube squarely in the middle of my plier, close down. So I've turned the tube into a square with 4 pinched corners, and now I'm going to go in the opposite direction, and here's where you get the feel of this. Once that slips right in the middle, you will know what it feels like, and that sweet spot right there. Then close. If you close when you're not in the middle, you'll mangle your crimp tube. Now I'm just going to go around a few times. That's probably even overkill, and that looks exactly like my 11/0 seed beads. It's so cool. Okay, I'm going to trim really close since I couldn't feed any of my wires back down through my bead, and I had just that much left on my spool. But if you guys know me at all, you know that I love making ring components and teardrops with my Softflex wire, so these are welcome in my scrap bag and they will absolutely get used. Now for the fun part, I am going to use the little jump ring that came on my lobster claw clasp and add that on this end so it can grab onto the gold ring at the other end for my closure. And I'm going to get another jump ring to add my fishy to this solid ring. Close that really well, and so I have a beautiful little charm on my bracelet, and I can grab onto this ring anywhere that I want. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? This is like really interesting and beautiful, but I could even layer that with my Amazonite because I do have a little bit of Amazonite, and I hadn't really intended on that, but I love it. It's beautiful no matter which way it goes around my wrist. And hey, I might even come back and add some more charms to this side, but look how sweet that bracelet is. And I think I can even layer this with the other bracelet that I'm planning to make. So I do have a discount code to Sam's Bead Box, and I will put that in the description box under this video. I also can link my little fish. He's a find that I just got. He came in the mail this week, so I can put that link for you guys. I really love reviewing Sam's Bead Box because everything is such high quality. As you can see, it is so beautifully curated with the most beautiful colors, interesting shapes of beads, and findings. The findings are amazing. I can't wait to make my next bracelet. And you know, like every box that I've gotten, my design brain just kicks into full gear, and there's just so much to make from it, and this month is no exception. So I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and tap the bell notification, because I will be back with more projects with these beautiful beads. You definitely can't just stop with two little projects, bracelet and earrings. So I thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, everybody.